Demonstrations across the nation and here in San Diego in the wake of the charges related to the Breonna Taylor shooting. A new fund being launched in San Diego to invest in the local Black community, and a program that is teaching people culinary skills and changing lives in the process. ABC 10 News at 11 starts now.
ABC 10 News at 11 starts now.
Hello there. Happy Thursday to you. Thanks for joining us. I'm Virginia Cha. I am joined remotely by my co-anchor Jim Patton, who's looking chipper and ready to go, and 10 News meteorologist Megan Perry, who is as well. And we're going to hear from them in just a moment. But first, we want to begin with this. A follow-up to a story we had for you live on ABC 10 News at 11 yesterday. Charges in the Breonna Taylor case, but none linked directly to her death. That announcement sparked demonstrations across the country, including here in San Diego. Hundreds of people marching through the streets of downtown San Diego calling for justice. Eventually, police say crowds near SDPD headquarters got unruly enough that they decided to declare an unlawful assembly. And this is video police tweeted out showing what it looked like outside the building. 10 people were arrested, but this morning police couldn't tell us for what exactly. Another demonstration is expected downtown this afternoon. Now, that demonstration in San Diego, just one of the many protests happening around the country last night. In Louisville, where Breonna Taylor lived, protests began peacefully, but by the end of the night, more than 100 people were arrested. 2 police officers were shot. Those officers are said to be doing well this morning. ABC's Trevor Ault has a look at the unrest.
Outraged protesters taking to the streets in Louisville Wednesday night, demanding justice for Breonna Taylor in the wake of a grand jury decision not to charge any of the officers in her killing. Demonstrators setting multiple fires, dozens of people arrested, 2 Louisville police officers shot, both hospitalized. The governor deploying the National Guard, a state of emergency declared by the city's mayor, and a 72-hour curfew put in place. Those protests quickly spreading across the country, most of them peaceful, but some cities seeing pockets of violence, including Portland, Oregon, and Buffalo, New York. The unrest following the Kentucky Attorney General's announcement of the grand jury's decision that Taylor's death, while tragic, did not warrant criminal charges against the officers.
According to Kentucky law, the use of force by Mattingly and Cosgrove was justified to protect themselves.
Former Officer Brett Hankerson was charged with 3 counts of first-degree wanton endangerment, not for firing the shots that killed Breonna Taylor, but for recklessly shooting into a neighboring apartment. The Attorney General says the 2 other officers involved in that botched March 13th raid, Detective Miles Cosgrove, who shot 16 times, and Sergeant John Mattingly, who shot 6 times, were justified in firing their weapons because they were returning fire from Taylor's boyfriend, Kenneth Walker. The Attorney General also declined for now to release the grand jury report or reveal any details about the grand jury itself, raising questions about the racial makeup of the group.
There seems to be 2 justice systems in America, one for white America and one for Black America.
The Taylor family settling a civil suit with the city just last week, now saying the charges fall far short of what constitutes justice.
She had every right to be in her apartment living and breathing and not be shot and killed by the police.
While both officers shot last night were taken to the hospital, police say neither of them suffered life-threatening injuries. One suspect has been taken into custody in this shooting. Trevor Ault, ABC News, Louisville, Kentucky.
And happening now, local activists coming together, calling on the state to end a program that they say leads to racially biased policing. Community leaders up and down the state today pushing for the Attorney General to reform a state gang database. And that database tracks thousands of people labeled as suspected gang members. And these groups, though, say that those labels, which can add to prison sentences and influence police practices, are subjective and biased. They are asking a judge to freeze access to that database until reforms are implemented. Well, right now, San Diegans still struggling to find work amid this pandemic, and it's even harder for those with a Our ABC 10 News reporter Vanessa Paz is in Lincoln Park, where a nonprofit, Kitchens for Good, has added a new program that will give those people tools and ingredients for success by adding in something sweet.
Since 2013, Kitchens for Good has helped fight hunger across San Diego County by partnering with local food pantries. They've created programs to help those with troubled past, and now they've created a baking apprenticeship program to provide real-world skills for people, whether they continue on in or outside of kitchens. After Kitchens for Good launched their culinary apprenticeship 5 years ago, they saw success and opportunity.
It's an amazing program here. We are so lucky to be here doing this.
Adding in a baking option to their existing culinary program, and their long-awaited start date finally happened this month. But the apprenticeships aren't your normal bake and set classes.
They have offered me this program, and I took this program, and now I'm learning a trade that I can take out there and better myself.
They're hoping what students learn here lead to better lives. Kenneth Donato is a current student and volunteer. He said Kitchens for Good completely changed his life, and he can't wait to see what awaits after he's finished with their baking program.
I mean, just 3 months ago, I was living under a bridge. I mean, it just, now my wife and I were living inside, and I'm going to school, I work here, you know, when I'm not at school, I actually work here and help them out.
Directors for the nonprofit said out of their 300 apprentices, 85 were hired throughout San Diego.
I see so many opportunities in baking and pastry, and I'm so excited for them to have that.
And said adding in a baking program means more students can sign up in hopes that more will get hired.
So wonderful, the things that they do.
The baking program is a free 20-week hands-on course, and I can tell you that they do follow all the CDC guidelines while classes are in session. For more details on how you qualify, go ahead and visit 10news.com. In Lincoln Park, Vanessa Paz, ABC 10 News.
Overnight, a trail of destruction after a driver plows into parked cars in North Park before taking a U-turn, crashing head-on into another car. Happened around 11 last night on University Avenue. A witness captured this cell phone video showing the driver hitting at least one of those parked cars before trying to leave the scene. He then ends up on the wrong side of the street where he crashed into another car, and witnesses say he then tried to run away.
I approached him. He was still sitting in the car, just with the head down. And I said, "Hey, man, are you okay?" He said, "No." That's all I heard. And then after a few minutes, he gets out of the car and tries to leave while we tried to stop him.
Driver was taken to a hospital. He is suspected of driving under the influence. A woman in the car hit head-on, was also taken to a hospital, but her injuries appear to be minor. Happening today, parents will rally for the safe reopening of the San Diego Union High School District. They say the district has started the process to bring in special needs and at-risk students, but has not, quote, put forth a working plan to bring the rest of the student population back on campus. A parent rally will happen at 3:30 this afternoon, but 2 hours before, the district will hold a special board meeting, and a reopening update is on the agenda. That meeting will be virtual on the district website. Virginia?
Thank you, Jim. The Santee City Council approved the controversial FANITA Ranch development late last night. The plan passed 4-1. The development will bring nearly 3,000 homes to Santee. It also lays out a makeover for the 52 freeway, a new school, more parks, and open space. But some residents are worried the plan will increase traffic too much in that area. Another concern is a lack of a fire evacuation plan in the event of an emergency.
It would be unconscionable and negligent to place thousands of new residents in a known fire hazard zone while climate fires are ravaging the West.
Project leaders say they do have a plan to ensure evacuation routes would be in place in time. The FANITA Ranch project is set to be on track to be finished in 10 to 15 years.